What's up, guys? We are on our way to the Vertical Minicon in Lumberton, North Carolina. It's about 7:35, 7:36. We're gonna get there by 8:30. That gives us an hour to get set up. Josh, you excited for today?
Oh, I am. I'm excited. I'm excited to hang out with all these guys. Excited for a new city. We've only done Lumberton once. This is a new venue for us.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm ready.
Yeah, I hope we pick up some more viewers too. I'd love to see us bump up some more. We've been steadily climbing. Thanks to you guys, we're up to 706, I believe, as of this morning. So that viewer subscriber goal is a lot more attainable now than I ever thought it would be. So that's really cool.
Chris, let's talk about why we're doing this live today. Me and Chris have figured that on these road trips we take, going to these conventions, we have our best conversations about comics and what's going on in the world with pop culture and the shows we're watching and all. So we thought we would give you guys an insight on that. And what was it you called this, Chris?
Road Trip Ramblings.
Road Trip Ramblings. As we talk about what we're reading, what we're watching, and just get into the meat of it all.
What's coming,
Yep.
what we're excited for. I'm excited. There's a lot of comic crossovers coming here real soon. I know I read the prelude to Gotham War. That is really good. Basically, while Batman was gone, Catwoman went and hired all the lower thugs that work for the Riddler and the Joker and Two-Face, and now
all the henchmen.
She took all the henchmen, turned them into cat burglars, and it's like a Robin Hood type thing. They rob from the rich, they keep it, they don't give to the poor, obviously, but it has caused less crime in Gotham, less of the more violent crimes and rapes and killings and shootings.
Well, Chris, I got a question.
Yeah.
Are they running around Gotham like the old 60s TV show, wearing shirts that say henchman number 1?
Nah, I didn't see that, but yeah, you could probably see that somewhere happening. One of the things it's doing, though, is kind of splitting the Bat family, so that's pretty interesting. They all had a meeting, and, Batman, of course, is like, it's still crime.
Yeah.
Just because it's less of a crime, it doesn't mean it's not still a crime. So yeah, that's been pretty good. I know Spider-Man is getting ready to do Gang War, so that's going to be interesting. He's going to team up. I'm thinking She-Hulk's part of it, Daredevil, Luke Cage may be part of it. I think Miles is part of it as well. So
I think they should have called it Street War, because you've got the street level heroes.
Yeah.
Right? You've got the Defenders level stuff going in there.
Yeah, it does feel like a Defenders type thing. You're not dealing with the cosmic stuff so much, just the other stuff like that. So that's going to be interesting. I can't wait to read that one. It looks like that one's going to be a pretty hefty crossover too, because they're talking about doing like individual like mini runs.
Yes.
Yeah, with each character, and I'm like, really, you're killing me. So,
Speaking of crossovers, is it gonna be a 2 or 3 month thing, or is it gonna be like we're doing this all in 1 month, or how are they doing it?
I think it's 2 months. I think it's November and December is all it is. But they're also going to use it to relaunch Spider-Woman.
Okay.
They're going to get a new Spider-Woman comic monthly coming out.
So there's not a lot of crossovers, but there are crossovers with it. It's a manageable crossover.
And I think it's a manageable crossover. To be honest, I think the only crossovers will be between Amazing and the Miles book.
Right.
And then you'll have the mini-series.
The one-shots.
The one-shot slash, I think there's one of 3, one of 2,
Okay.
one of 3. So like Iron Fist will have 3. And I forget who else. I don't think they've released the full list yet, checklist, but I'm interested to see what it's going to be like. I kind of quit reading Amazing, but I think what brings the whole thing about is Peter's best friend is marrying oh shoot, what's the villain? Hammerhead or
I think it is. I think Hammerhead is one of his villains.
yeah, well, this guy's daughter, and somebody takes the opportunity at the wedding to go ahead and try to snuff him out, and so it becomes villains fighting villains, and so they're going to put together, Spider-Man's going to put together a team to help stop the violence, I guess.
Okay.
So
you're getting a villain gang war, and the heroes are gonna form a team to fight against them.
Yeah, basically.
I got you.
And I'm sure it's gonna spill over into the other books. I know Sensational She-Hulk is coming back in October, so I imagine it'll spill over a little bit into that as well. Here's to breaking the fourth wall, hopefully, in this run.
Sensational, yes.
Yeah, so we did it one time in the last run, but it hasn't happened as much as I would prefer it to.
Well, you've got to have a balance too. You don't want to overdo it, but you don't want to underdo it either.
Yeah, right. I mean, there was only one there. I do know that with the new Sensational She-Hulk run, you're going to have the main story, which is Rainbow Rowell's run.
Right.
And then you're going to have like DC's been doing, you're going to have a second story in the back of the book.
Like they're doing with action now.
Jessica Dow, who, wrote the TV series She-Hulk, will be writing. So I'm sure there'll be some fourth wall breaking in that one.
Awesome.
Awesome. So that one's coming.
Well, now it sounds like Gang War is going to be done right as a crossover. But Chris, you know why I'm bringing up a crossover, right?
Why's that?
Night Terrors.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about Night Terrors, because I went into it. I'm a big DC guy. I love DC stuff. Okay. I went in whole hog, bought the whole thing, every issue, every crossover, 42 books in 2 months.
They got that.
Okay.
Money.
And that's honestly,
it was a money grab.
When I read the books, most of those could have been standalone stories in the book of the character. The only books, and here's the thing, Knight was spelled Knight, and we all know who that points to.
The only character that matters in DC, Batman.
I mean, everything always goes back to Batman with them. And when I'm reading it, if you haven't read Night Terror, spoiler alert, this new villain is introduced.
Yeah.
His name is Insomnia, and he puts everybody to sleep and in their nightmares. And he's searching for what's known as the Nightmare Stone. Well, yes, some of the books were entertaining. The Joker book,
yeah,
seeing Joker's nightmare being stuck in a cubicle was a great story, but it could have been told in the Joker's separate book.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that.
Yeah, and it could have been done that way.
You do that in the back in the second story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Batman books, the ones that had Batman in it, Batman gets possessed by Dead Man. You've read it, right?
I read Night Terrors. And just as kind of a forefront to that, I just read the 6 books that were Night Terrors.
Right.
Night Terrors Alpha 1 through 4 and Night Terrors Omega, I believe is what they call it.
It was
Night's
End
and Night's.
I forget. Oh, First Blood.
First Blood. First Blood, and then Night's End.
Yeah.
You can read that and get the whole story.
You could have. The only books that really felt like they tied in were the books with Batman in it.
Batman.
Because he's possessed by Dead Man, and that's the main character in the story.
Well, that's who was like doing everything. Yeah. I mean, it was basically Dead Man's story.
Yes.
And he was using the characters throughout to progress the story.
Yes. I enjoyed the use of Dead Man because we don't get a lot of him.
You don't get a lot of Dead Man.
The whole Insomnia character was an interesting character as a villain. I mean, he's mad at the Justice League because something happened, and obviously the Justice League can't save everybody, and his family happened to be people that suffered and died from it.
Yeah.
And so he won't go to sleep because every time he goes to sleep, he sees his dead family.
To the point of cutting his eyelids off so he
Yes.
doesn't have to go to sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, you could read those 6 books and
Yeah.
that's all you need to read.
Yeah. It was terrifying to my wallet.
Yeah.
It was terrifying to my wallet to buy all that and read it, to realize it just wasn't needed. If you were reading that, and like I should have gone in, bought the mini, I should have bought Superman, I should have bought Action Comics, and I should have bought the Titans books, because those are the only ones I'm reading right now in DC. You know, and I would have had everything I needed based on what I read.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of, you know, for DC, and you know I'm normally all in for DC. My thoughts on it were, you had 6 books, right, that were the main story. You started 2 weeks at the end of September. You cut out half those minis. You run it during the month of October, where it ends on Halloween. If you wanted that scary story going, you do it in October. You don't do it 2 months early.
Well, here's the thing. We know that Marvel and DC are in constant, competition with each
Yes.
other. What spurred the whole Night Terrors 42 issue thing was we just came off of the Alex Ross Timeless covers. Marvel got people, including me, to spend extra money every month on 37 different covers. And Night Terrors got people, including you,
Yep.
to spend money on 42 issues that are sitting there now doing nothing.
Yeah.
I've got those 37s just for reference, or for just kind of a little preview, probably within the next year. I don't know how many shows we got left this year. You may be able to come to our booth and buy the full run of the Timeless Villains books from me.
Well, I'll go ahead and tell you, short of Action, Superman, and Titans, I've got them all in a bag in the back of the car. I'm going to package the 2 issues together and sell out all of them except the miniseries. I kept the miniseries.
Well, I'm keeping the mini-series because I got something that a lot of people didn't get. I collected the neon covers,
Yes.
and I have both copies of, I think it was issue 1, where they screwed up and used brown instead of green.
Yes.
And so I have the brown cover. I like to call it the doo-doo cover. But I have that cover as well as the regular cover. And I know the brown cover is anywhere from $25 to $35 on eBay if you look it up.
Right.
Because they pulled that off the shelf.
Right.
They made all the comic book distributors take it off their shelves.
Right.
So if you were lucky enough to get one, then you're going to be
Before they got pulled.
yeah. So I was able to do that. Thanks, Andy, by the way, for hooking me up.
Yeah,
with
that was a good call on that. I didn't buy the special covers only because I was buying the whole miniseries. I was buying everything. For me, Night Terrors and DC don't do it to me again. I'm looking at the next crossover coming is Titans Beast World.
Yeah.
And it's a much more manageable crossover.
Yeah, I could do 6 or 7.
Yeah.
DC I believe it was last year, did a Shadow War.
Yes.
That rolled through Batman, Robin, and Deathstroke. I think it was 7 issues was all it is. That's so much more manageable to me than trying to keep up with like 40 some books. Crossovers are good. Crossovers are fun. But I just finished reading House of M, the full omnibus. Imagine if you tried to buy that whole thing in
one shot. Yeah, you'd have gone broke.
You break the bank.
But here's the thing, DC was on a roll. Metal, Dark Knight's Metal, Dark Knight's Death Metal, Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, all of the one shots that went with those made sense to get, and they worked with the story.
They worked with the story, but there was a lot to Death Metal. That was one of the first ones I started getting. I was like, Ooh, this is a lot of books.
It was, but it kept the story going. Each one shot you read connected to the next one.
Yeah, it was a good
And
story.
it was a great way to go. Night Terrors, not so much. You could go without it. You didn't need it.
Yeah, but they play with this stuff.
Yes.
I mean, I have the Night Terrors. They did. I mean,
Right.
buy them, and that's fine. I have fun getting them. I love like a Derek Chew or an Art Germ or any of those covers like that. There's I can't think of her name right now, but there's some Trick or Treat covers coming out this October.
Yes, they look amazing.
I love those.
You know what they remind me of?
What's that?
When you go to Grandma's house, those old pictures that were in the round frames.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Right now,
Yeah.
right now, DC's running a run where oh shoot, I've lost her name. Besh. Rose Besh
Yes.
is doing covers. I picked up the Batman one. That one's cool looking to me. They kind of got a kiddish cartoon look to them, but there's an artistic style to them that I like as well.
You know who that reminds me of? The Rose Bash and these Halloween covers that are coming out.
Yeah.
Stewart, JL8.
Yeah.
They look like JL8.
It does.
And that's a JL8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've been reading a lot. I bought some today. I'm hoping and crossing my fingers that we're so busy we don't have time to read today.
Yes.
Which I'm sure we will, because Hector is a great guy. I'm sure he's going to have a great turnout. I can't wait to get there and hang out and set up and all that fun stuff. I slept pretty good last night. Usually before we go on a trip, I'm like, I don't sleep well because my mind is already going, okay, here's what we got to do, here's where we're going. I get excited, but I did okay last night. So, but I have read, speaking of crossover, not really crossovers, but mini-series, maxi-series, I got through Dark Knights of Steel finally, because it finally came out.
Right.
The last one.
Yep.
I went back and started at the beginning. I was like, you know what? I'm starting at the beginning because I don't know if it was art. I'm pretty sure it wasn't story. But if it was art, I'm glad they took the time to make it look good.
Yes.
Because it is a good looking.
Yeah, it is a beautiful book.
It is.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And the thing is, Chris, it reminds me of like the old Prince Valiant and the what's the other? Oh, Camelot. The old comics, like the medieval comics, is the look they went with, and it fits with the story.
It does, and it's a good story. It was told well. I love the way it ended. It's definitely left open if Tom ever wants to go back and revisit. I think he can.
Oh yes, it received a lot of high praise. So I would figure that we're not in our final look at the Dark Knights of Steel universe.
Oh, I don't think so.
I think, and a little spoilery, but I think the next one might be called The League.
It could.
The League.
The League. That would be good. But yeah, that was good. I did read Catwoman, Lonely Nights. That's a 4-issue. That's super good. If you ever get a chance to sit down and read it. I'm digging a lot of the Black Label stuff right now.
Yes.
Some of the Black Label stuff. Speaking of, next week, Gargoyle of Gotham #1 drops.
That's going to be amazing.
Batman Day.
We got the opportunity to get hold of an ash can for issue 1, like a preview issue, and was it Raphael Grandpa?
Raphael Grandpa.
That's his name.
He writes it, he draws it, he does all of it. It's amazing.
It's amazing artwork, and the story, I mean, it's great. The costume he chose to put on Batman, the way he draws it, I enjoyed that. I really liked it. I think it's going to be an amazing book.
Yeah, the first time you see Batman in there, when you get him fully in there, it's breathtaking. It's really good.
Now that's going to be one I might have to borrow from you to read because I'm already buying enough right now, and that's hitting right around the time of the whole Titans Beast Wars, and I'm going to be buying that one.
I'm hoping. I'm not sure how many it's going to be. I'm looking hopefully for 3, but we'll see. But Black Label's usually pretty good about 3 or 4, and that's it. And unless you're like, well, not unless you're like But hopefully it won't be like Swamp Thing Green Hell where you had to wait a year for issue 2 to come out.
So long that they reprinted issue 1.
They had to reprint issue 1 to refresh people's memory. It took so long to come out. But so I've been reading a lot. I mean, I was on the road for like 4.5 hours last weekend. So I read a ton of books.
Untold Tales of I Hate Fairyland. I'm catching up on that one. I'm loving the anthology style stories. The way they're doing that book.
It's fun.
It's a fun read.
It's fun. Some of the art is different. It's different artwork too.
Yes.
But there's something about when Jean-Francois Belleau, when he starts putting the color and art on it, it pops.
Yes, it does.
It really pops.
It does. I love seeing other people's perspectives on Fairyland too.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's other people other than Scotty writing the book, which I love Scotty's stuff, but seeing other people's ideas about what's happening.
Well, it's cool. It's like Scotty has created this whole world, and then he's letting other people play in it.
Yep.
And it's almost like what we're getting with like Star Wars.
Yes.
You know, with Ahsoka right now. You know, George Lucas created this world, but other people are playing in it now, and we're getting these beautiful shows like The Mandalorian and Ahsoka.
All I'm gonna say is yes, other people get to play in it, but make sure Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, or Favreau. I always mess up his name. Or Opie Taylor, little Opie Taylor's daughter.
Bryce, if you let
Bryce Dallas Howard, let her in there because she has done amazing work on that show.
Yeah.
I would love to see a Star Wars movie directed by her.
If we just let Filoni run everything, he may, you know, they might need to go back and trace him to George Lucas. There might be some connection there.
Yeah.
But, you know, he may be one of the few people that has George Lucas's blessing to do whatever, to have free run, because everything he does is great. I mean, he does so good.
He's done amazing work. Talking about that, you're caught up on Ahsoka, right?
Yeah,
you're all there.
I'm caught.
When episode 4 last week, is Ahsoka in the World Between Worlds?
So
you think so?
I think so.
I think that's where she was.
I know that's.
I'm gonna throw a monkey in the wrench, or a wrench in there, because I don't think that was Anakin that we saw.
Yeah, that was Anakin.
I don't think it was. You know why? Because whenever we see a dead Jedi, they're a Force ghost and they're blue. And he wasn't blue.
Well, who else would he be?
The sun, the two sides of the Force. It's the Sith side of the Force.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
And not to call out because they've been doing some amazing work, but really the face on Anakin, the de-aged face, didn't look like the best work they've done. So was it done intentionally that way to make us realize, hey, this isn't really Anakin?
I don't know. I think, but when we saw Anakin in the World Between Worlds, when you saw him on Clone Wars, no, Rebels was what we saw, there wasn't a blue Force ghost.
Okay.
So it's Anakin, but it's not the Force ghost Anakin, because the World Between Worlds works different than what the real world looks like.
Right, but wouldn't someone have had to gone in there and pulled him out into the World Between Worlds? How did he get there?
Somebody pulled him out. I don't know who did. I guess we'll find out.
I mean, I know that episode 5's got to be a huge episode because they're releasing it into select theaters this week. So there's something big gonna happen. They wouldn't do that unless there was something cinematic that they were gonna be pulling off.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, take advantage of the fact that people are watching it.
Yes.
You know.
And Chris, I don't know about you, but when earlier on in the season when Sabine jumped on the gun, I felt like I was watching Han Solo back in the original trilogy.
Yeah, that space battle was every bit what you should see in a Star Wars.
And when the X-Wings came in this week and they were having that battle, it felt like watching the old movies.
wasn't much of a battle though. I mean,
No.
the ship just kind of went through the.
Oh yeah.
It just
Yeah,
kind
it just
of
kinda
pulled a
ripped them
holdo
apart.
maneuver and went right through them. So, thankfully the ghost survived. But
Yep. And Carson. When the ghost first showed up, I had chills. I was like, there it is in live action. Because so far, all we've seen is the Phantom.
yeah, but we're missing one character now.
We need Zeb.
We got to get Zeb back in there.
Yes, we do. We need Zeb.
So,
We need Zeb. I want Zeb to show up. Carson Teva should have brought him in with him.
yeah, he should
Because
have.
he showed up with Carson.
I'm sure. I can't imagine he's not going to show up at some point. I mean, you've got almost all of the rebels back. You know, you've got to get Zeb in there somewhere.
Do you wait to bring him back when you bring Ezra? Do you think it's
Are they even going to bring Ezra? Are we? Is that the red herring that we think we're going to see Ezra this whole time and we don't?
I think we're going to get Ezra. You can't do that. You can't hire an actor to play that part just to do a little image.
You can do whatever you want, really.
Couple of things on that episode, Chris, that we saw. I don't know if you noticed when she gets in the ghost, but in the dash, there's a little picture down in the corner. It's Kanan Jarrus.
Yeah.
It's Kanan Jarrus. There's a picture of him. It's a blurry picture. You can't really make his face out, but you know who it is. And her son. What is her son's name? Jason. He is wearing the arm plate that Kanan wore.
Well, Jason is a direct. His name was a direct link to the old Star Wars. What I guess they're called Legends books now, because Jason was one of Han Solo's kids. Jason and Jaina. Jason eventually became the Sith, and Jaina had to kill him.
Yes.
So, and then they had the other kid. Well, no, it was Luke and Mara that had Ben.
Yes.
And he died too, I think. I can't remember. They went so far, and Jaina wound up being the last kid left. I pretty much quit reading when they dropped the planet on Chewbacca.
When they killed Chewbacca. Was it Vector Prime? What's the name of that one?
Yeah,
or
I think
like
R.A.
that?
Salvatore wrote that,
Yes,
and I was like, I won't even read his books now. I said, you jerk.
You killed Chewbacca. Yeah. You had to end that line.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're getting, and I don't know about you, but I keep getting chills every time they say heir to the Empire.
Yeah, I'm just waiting.
I'm just waiting. And you know all this is leading to a film.
Oh yeah, it's going to get to
So
I don't think, and my theory is, you're not going to see Thrawn do much.
No, I think you're going to get Thrawn at the very end.
He's going to show up and be like, I'm back.
Yep.
He's going to be, Misa back!
No.
He's
no
bringing
Jar Jar.
he's bringing Jar Jar with him.
Because Jar Jar is secretly a Sith.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's Jar Jar.
Yeah. How did he get Padme to give him her Senate seat?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a Sith.
Yeah. But anyway, cool.
Ahsoka. Oh, how about the whole, we're all trying to figure out who Mark is, and he's nobody.
Eric is,
he's dust.
He's dust, man.
He's nobody.
Killed that. That was another red herring they had you running around with.
Yeah. Let's go back to, Thrawn is the ultimate evil in Star Wars. Let's go back to the comics for a minute. Because at the end of Dark Knights of Steel, we see the true face of Amanda Waller.
She's the ultimate evil in all DC, right?
Oh, yeah. And she's like in at the end of Night Terrors.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're building something big with her.
Yeah.
With her. She's after the heroes.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that we're probably getting some cross-promotional stuff pushing her hard in the comics because of the show coming on what, Max is called now? Yeah. So we're getting some hard push on Amanda Waller, but I like it. I like it.
She's the most evil person out there right now.
Exactly. I think she has a kind of Lex Luthor style, because I mean she's human.
The difference,
she's human.
Well, the difference between her and Lex Luthor is she's got access to Deadshot.
Yes.
The Suicide Squad if she needs it. Task
Force X. Yes.
Yeah,
Task Force X.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
But here's the thing with that. I think, and predictions ahead, we're gonna get something where she is like the main root of everything. She's gonna, which we've done the Justice League versus the Suicide Squad before, but we're gonna get something like that again, I feel like. And the Suicide Squad is gonna wind up turning on her.
Possibly.
I think they're gonna wind up turning on her because they're gonna realize, hey, if she's going after the best of the best, what's to keep her from going after us?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
you're attacking Superman.
They're building up to something. It's going to be a big thing.
Yeah.
Probably next year.
Yeah, we're always building to the next big thing. Like Titans Beast War is coming. That's going to be interesting to see. I do like the way they're doing the crossovers this time for that one, the one shots, Chris, because it is Beast World. Each of the one shots is a different city. Like there's Beast World Metropolis, Beast World Gotham.
Okay.
You're going to each of the cities where the big heroes
Change
are.
that Beast World. I just think about Transformers.
Yes.
Beast
Yeah.
Wars.
Yeah.
I keep waiting for a gorilla to show up.
I just want to see Garo.
Speaking of, that's a good movie, by the way. Beast Wars.
Beast Wars, yeah.
Also, one of the best shows on TV. Two of the best shows on TV right now. If you have not been on Netflix and watched One Piece, I don't care if you're an anime fan, not an anime fan, never seen a One Piece, have no idea because that's what happened with me. I knew nothing about One Piece. I knew there was a kid called Luffy who wears a straw hat, and his crew is called the Straw Hat Pirates. People who are making Avatar, the live action series, watch One Piece and get some ideas. Luffy is exactly who Aang should be in the Avatar series.
Okay.
He's very much a fun-loving, his whole purpose, I'm going to be a pirate. I'm going to find the One Piece. I'm going to be the king of the pirates. He has fun doing it. When it's time to get serious, he gets serious. He will do spoilers. He kind of eats this dragon fruit thing, and it gives him his powers, which is almost like it's made out of rubber. So that's when you see him go back to hit, his arm will go way back, and he has like this. He has like a saying he says, and then he'll just plow into the bad guys or whoever he's fighting at the time.
Special effects look okay?
Special effects look good. Very much, and I just so much feel like, hey, I'm watching a live action Avatar show.
Yeah.
Is what I felt like because of the humor, the story, I don't know, the way they tell it. It just looks like, hey, this is translated straight from
the manga.
But
from
they took a lot of liberties.
Right.
I don't know how much. There's a lot of change, but one of the things they do really well is, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe 5 members of the Straw Hat crew in the first season. So you've got Luffy, you've got Zoro, Nami, Uso, and I can't remember the cook guy's name. But there's 5 of them. They take the time to introduce you to each one of them. You don't get, okay, here's the Straw Hat gang, they're going after or pirates, they're going after the One Piece.
Yeah.
But each character gets 1 or more episodes to do some back building.
So we get backstory on
So
the characters.
okay. Their motivation, what happened to them, how they got to the situation they're in. I love Luffy. Luffy's a great character. My favorite character, and the character that has the best backstory, I think, is Nami.
Okay.
Nami's story is great. They kind of tell it in the last 2 episodes. She's just an interesting character all the way around. You figure out her motivation and stuff like that.
Well, here's what I'm wondering, Chris, because I'm not an anime guy, I'm not a manga guy. You're not either. So you came across this, you saw the trailers, you never read it, never seen the show, you enjoyed it because you had no reference to go back to. I'd love to see, and guys in our comments, perspective from an anime manga reader, anime watcher who has seen One Piece, loved the anime, and what they thought of this live action version.
Yeah.
So let us know what you thought about it.
Absolutely. Now I have talked to my daughter's boyfriend, Son.
Yes.
And he said he liked it.
Okay.
And he is familiar with it and stuff. But that's one opinion. I'd like to hear from others as well. But if you are a person who has never looked at anime in your life and decide, hey, I'm going to watch this show, you can. You don't need a reference. You don't need something to fall back on.
So it's easily accessible.
Yeah,
if you've never seen it
it's
before.
easily accessible.
It's almost as if they've gone in and, hey, this is One Piece, but this is a new version of it, so that you could go into
Basically.
it without having any background knowledge.
Because I think, and I want to say One Piece is one of the longest running mangas.
I think it is the longest running.
And so you're talking about that. I think it's somewhere into thousands of episodes, and you're starting at the beginning.
Yeah.
So, what parts of this 1,000 episode can we use to make this work?
Yeah.
So I think that's good. It's definitely a watcher. Take your time. Well, I say take your time. I haven't binge watched a show in a long time. I binge watched the crap out of that one, dude. It was like I watched a couple on the weekend. I watched one every night when I found it and got through it really quick. And the great thing about it was, like, Cindy watched the first one with me, and she's like, "Yeah, it's okay." I got to the 8th episode and was watching it the other night. And she's like, "Now I got to go back and watch the rest again because, it got better."
What? How many episodes is
There's
it?
only 8.
There's only 8. And is it an hour or 30 minutes?
It's an hour. Really.
An hour? Okay.
So you get a full...
So an 8-hour movie, basically.
It's an 8-hour movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's just a better way to tell a story instead of condensing like
2 hours.
What it did with Avatar and how they tried to make it a 2-hour movie and it didn't work.
Yeah, I think streaming has allowed a lot of that, which makes things a lot better. I do think there are some things where people have messed up and they've tried to do that, and all they've done is add filler, and that didn't work.
Well, I mean, they don't have to add filler to this. It's got 1,000 episodes. They can add whatever. I mean, they got tons of different characters they can introduce. And...
I want to go back to the special effects for a minute, because it is an anime. It is a cartoon. And not to make anybody mad, because I know anime people don't like to have an anime called a cartoon, but it is an animated show.
Yeah.
Okay? Cartoon. I'm not saying it's a cartoon as in, oh, this is just a funny show. I realize the respect you guys have for your shows. But the special effects, I want to go back to that, because there are different levels of special effects. There are special effects that just blow you out of the water, like, say, Avatar or a science fiction film. But the special effects on this, you said he's kind of like rubber.
Yeah.
When he gets his powers, is it like special effects that are cheesy but in a good way? Do you know what I mean? Like they're meant to look that way?
I don't know that they're cheesy.
Okay.
I think you understand that this is his power.
Okay.
And this is what he did. Well, there's the second episode. There's a clown.
Right.
Pirate, and he has the ability for his body to just, like, they could take a sword and cut him, but he can detach his body, like pieces of his body.
Okay.
Like they come apart, so they move around and stuff too. So that's interesting. Whenever you see a fight, you're gonna get the anime style. Like if somebody, like a guy holding a sword, Zoro is a swordsman.
Right.
So when he gets hit, he goes backwards. You're used to seeing in anime that slow crawl backwards, the sword's dragging the ground.
Right.
You're gonna get that. That's what you get. So it's not cheesy sci-fi.
So what I'm trying to say, and I think I'm saying it the wrong way, is the special effects fit with the tone of the show.
Exactly.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know, because sometimes, some things take themselves too seriously, and what should have a different style of special effect has the high profile special effect.
There is a balance that you have to get with the show, and I think that's important. And while the show has kookiness that is One Piece.
Right.
I mean, this is a kid with a straw hat that's made out, that is like almost like rubber. There's also an element of seriousness that, he's going to find the One Piece. There's pirates. There's people hunting after you. When there's a sword fight at the end of the last episode, when they cut people, they bleed.
Yes.
They bleed. I mean, it's that, but it's just a good balance.
Good balance of
You
it.
feel good when you get done watching it,
And I think it goes back to like Miss Marvel. I'll bring that one in.
Miss Marvel was done well.
Miss Marvel was done well. I know a lot of people were upset because they felt like they changed her power set, and they did to a percentage.
That's a good comparison, because like when she uses her powers,
Right.
it's almost like that when you see Luffy using his.
Okay, because her powers had to fit with the show.
Right.
And so you do get the big hands, but it's a light structure, and it's not her like Mr. Fantastic it out. You know?
Yeah.
And I like the change. I feel like that was a cool way to do it. Speaking of Miss Marvel, Iman Vellani, I mean, how great is she? She went from cosplaying Miss Marvel to being Miss Marvel, and now she's writing Miss Marvel in the comics.
Yeah,
that is a fan's dream.
Speaking of which, I just read that last weekend. I picked it up from Nostalgia when I was in Greenville. I went in and got the art journal cover and
Nice.
read it. Great story. I'm going to keep reading it.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I mean, they're leaning into the fact that she is a mutant now.
But now she's if I understand right, and I haven't read it, but she's still an Inhuman too.
She's still an Inhuman.
Both.
She's also a mutant. The difference is her mutant powers. I can't think of the word they use, but basically what it is they have a way to detect all mutants on Earth. Her mutant powers are undetectable. It's like they're late, like they didn't
develop. Okay.
So they can't detect her being a mutant. So now Emma Frost is using her as like an undercover agent to help in the war against the anti-mutant, society who's trying to kill all the mutants and stuff.
Okay.
And I just looked at what time it is, Josh. We're closing in on getting close. I'm gonna need my ways soon.
Yep.
But I did want to talk about one more show before we got off of here.
All right.
And I'm gonna scold you and chastise you a little bit, because first off, you are a Stephen Amell fan.
Yes.
You love Stephen Amell.
Yeah.
You are a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
I know, because we grew up watching wrestling. Why have you not watched Heels?
I haven't made the time for it. I've got to pull it up and watch
You
it.
need to carve out some time.
I'm going to have time this season because everything on network TV is off. The only thing I have left to watch is Superman and Lois. Everything I watched has gone off the air.
You've got to watch Heels. I just watched last night. If you've ever wondered what goes on behind the scenes of like a tiny little, independent wrestling promotion, you watch Heels. You see what goes on behind the scenes. A little bit more dramatic, made for TV, I'm sure, but it's just beautifully done. Acting wise, story wise, there's a whole lot of crap going on.
Now you understand why I always liked Amell when he was on air.
Well, I liked him too. I never didn't like him.
He was a great actor, and he's good at what he does.
He unfortunately got stuck in the terrible Michael Bay Turtles movie.
Yeah, well, that one had its good spots too.
It did.
I mean, you got me
when it
bopping
started.
steady.
At the beginning when it started and you saw the credits, and then at the end when the credits rolled, to tell you it was the end.
Yeah.
I have no, I tried. I mean, we ain't got Tyler Perry to be Baxter Stockman.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Medea to show up. But,
Yeah, no.
How are you
No,
doing?
Baxter. I was really hoping we would get Baxter as the Fly by the time the second movie came out, but we didn't go there. I was really hoping for it.
Yeah. No spoilers.
Mutant
Mayhem is the best
yeah.
Turtles movie I've
Yeah.
seen in a long
I need to watch it. I haven't seen it yet. I know it's out on digital.
Guys, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It is a great movie.
I'm behind. I need to see it. I need to see Blue Beetle. My wife is begging me to take her to see Barbie. We haven't seen Barbie yet.
I'm not going to Barbie.
So there's so many things I need to watch just to catch up. I mean, Chris, I'm still catching up on Twisted Metal. I mean, I'm working my way through that one.
That's a great show.
I'm enjoying that one too. Anthony Mackie, that guy is a comedian and a half. He's killing me.
You just got to take one show a night and do
Yeah.
it. All right, guys, we are getting close. We got probably about 30 minutes to an hour of setup time. We are excited. We're ready to see you guys. But we just thought we'd let you in on some of our ramblings that we have. These are our conversations.
Let us know what you think about the Ramblings video, if you want us to do more of these in the comments, because I believe there's a lot of stuff we didn't talk about this morning that we can add to and talk about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of stuff I didn't get to discuss because we've run out of time.
Absolutely. And if you are, even if you're not in the area, if you're only a couple of hours drive away, get in your cars, drive down here to Lumberton to a free comic book convention. How can you pass up free when you can get in, save your money to spend with the vendors, and come get some great books? I talked about Dark Knights of Steel. I actually have it with me. I'm going to put that up for sale. So that's available. So get in your cars, get in your trucks, get in your minivans, get a church bus and fill it up with people and bring them back.
Come on down. It is at a church. It's a
at
vertical
a
church today.
Yeah, bring a church bus.
It's going to be family friendly.
Yep. Bring your best
Come on
cosplay. We're going to have, I know they're doing cosplay, so come on down and cosplay.
And if you want to know what's going to be there before you head this way, go to our channel and look at the preview video. We interviewed Hector Murray, and it went up last Saturday, so check it out and see what you're going to see today.
Absolutely. And come by and tell us your opinions on all the stuff we talked about. And that's all we're going to do, and we will see you guys in a few hours in Lumberton.
Yep. Have a good one, guys. We'll see you at the con next.
Yep.
All right. Well, we had 2 viewers at one point.
Yeah.